Welcome to the Fence and Deck Mastery Podcast, where we discuss cutting-edge techniques, industry trends, and business insights to take your fence or deck company to the next level and dominate your competition. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Fence and Deck Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Danner, and also the founder of Fence and Deck Marketers, which is a marketing agency that only works with fencing and decking businesses. If you've listened to the latest shows, we've had a lot of exciting guests that come on here. And hearing a lot of different stories about how, basically successful business came to be and all the different stories that, they have coming into it and, the steps that they took to build it up. And today I'm really going to be doing something very similar. I have an amazing guest that seen a lot of success in the decking industry. His name is Calvin Gray from Legendary Decks in Utah. So Calvin, appreciate you coming on the podcast. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks so much for having me.
Yep, absolutely. And Calvin was at the Timber Tech Summit, like I was this past whatever it was February, I think, and just an overall great experience. But as you may have heard in previous podcasts, I've wanted to bring on people that can share, basically that have proven experience and success in the industry that can tell their stories. So that's why I'm excited to kind of dig into that with Calvin and learn all about Legendary Decks. And I actually just found out that Calvin is a big hunter as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see some of his mounts and in the background. And if you've listened to this, you probably know I'm the same way. So we spent a good 10 minutes right when we got on the call, just looking at different mounts we got up on the wall and things like that. So it was kind of a cool surprise. But anyways, I know or maybe we'll do one on hunting another day. But today I know everyone wants to learn all about the decking experience. So Calvin, if you could just kind of introduce yourself, your story, maybe your history kind of leading up to when you started Legendary Decks and just a little bit overall kind of how that got going.
Okay. So, like you've already said, Calvin Gray. So, about 2016, 2017, I started working for a home building company and framing homes. And he could see how fast a turnover rate was on building decks and how much money there was in it. So, I was pretty much his pioneer of starting that decking side of things with me and a couple other guys. And we built that decking up for him, that facet of his company, and brought on a few more crews. And then I became the project manager for that, and I became an estimator. I was making $20 an hour, and I asked him for a raise, and he said, "I'm paying you too much for an estimator." And I said, "Well, catch you later, man." So in 2019, I went out and started my company and never looked back.
Nice. And did you just go straight into decks or did you do other services? How did that work?
No, I just went straight into decks because that's what I was good at, and I knew how to build and could bang out like 400 or 500 square foot decks in a week. And then I also do timber frame pergolas and awnings as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, can you explain that a little bit? I saw that was in your website URL and I haven't heard of like the timber frame specifically, I don't think anyway. What is that exactly? Is that everywhere? I mean, is that something that's specific to you guys or just looking for
I
information
don't
on
know.
it?
I guess it's kind of more of a rustic look, so it might be more popular out here in the West. They're like just big, rough sawn timbers that you get from the mill, and then you gotta sand them and route them and stain them, and it just looks like a big, pretty structure. And that's what people love out here. Love the look of it. But man,
Gotcha.
it's a different breed moving around a 10 by 10 post and freaking, you're like,
It's a lot
oh
heavier.
God.
I
Ugh,
think you got some
kick your
guns,
butt.
man.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man.
So it's just way more solid, stronger. I mean, is that kind of
Yeah.
is that why? Yeah.
So they're just super robust, and I love the looks of them. I love that chunky look, and that's what I do with my decks too. Is I'll use 6 by 6 minimum and upgrade to 8 by 8 posts as well, just to give the big chunky Western look. That's like my logo is all about the West out here.
Oh, nice. Sweet. Okay. So
Oh, dude.
you said 2019 is when it started?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did things look? Because I know well, you're just telling me you we're Trex Pro plus TimberTech Platinum. So you're obviously doing a lot of things right and pretty quick growth. I mean, overall. So how did that look like? I'm guessing in the beginning it was just you kind of doing everything. Did that evolve
Yeah.
over time, or how did
Yeah.
that progress?
And in the beginning, I almost freaking died. So
Oh, really?
it was like my fifth job that I got. It was an old deck that was like 10 feet tall over a walkout basement concrete slab. And we were doing the tear out and the deck collapsed on me while I was standing on it.
Oh,
And I fell
jeez.
and landed on the concrete slab. And then I woke up 10 hours later in the hospital and didn't know where I was, man.
Jeez.
So that was wild. And then after like 5, 6 weeks, I healed up and went right back at it. And I was like, yeah, I'll just keep building. So
Dang.
my first year was kind of a rocky start. I started in May and then I had the accident in July. And then I kind of did like 4 or 5 jobs in the fall. And then in 2020, I got back into it. And I was like, I don't even know where to start. So I started with Thumbtack, started with Home Advisor, which is now Angie's Leads. And then that kind of got me a start. But I feel like what really set me apart was my client relationships and building quality products. So I was 100% in 2021, like word of mouth business and referrals just from past clients and spreading word in the neighborhood.
Gotcha. And were you doing all the work yourself, or did you eventually hire crews, or how did that work?
Yeah. So originally in 2019, I hired my nephew for the summer. He was 15. And then in 2020, I brought on another guy and then COVID hit. So they canceled school. And I was like, well, you're not in school anymore, East. So come back to work for me. So I had my nephew and my friend's little brother. So it's just the three of us. And we did like 45 jobs in 2020. We just bang them out.
Nice.
And so I would do everything. I'd estimate, bid, sell, work on the job, build the job, get all the materials ordered. It was crazy, dude. It was like 100-hour weeks.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. And so that you said that was 2020. That's
Yeah.
when, okay. So I guess fast forward today, does that change at all? You
Yeah.
still,
So I feel like I'm pretty close to a lot of deck builders and some of my biggest mentors are, I don't know if you've heard of him, Jake Verga with JV. He has one of the biggest decking companies in Utah, and he's been a really good mentor for me. And I've tried to start to model my business after him, where I do like the bids and sales, and then I have an in-house crew of employees, but then also I subcontract to other deck companies to build the jobs for me.
gotcha. Okay. How many crews do you run now?
Right now, I have three.
Three. Okay. And then do you have any issues finding them or hiring them, or is there a lot of, good,
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass trying to find a good sub. That's for
yeah.
sure. Because they'll show up and be like, fuck this, I don't want to do this job and walk, or they'll do it wrong. Like last summer, I tried to get into having subs and I had this guy doing a cabin up in the mountains. He was like an hour and a half away, so I was kind of out of sight, out of mind. Then I just had a feeling to go up there and check on him before they put the surface on. And I go up there and it was a framing nightmare. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I ended up having to tear out that whole entire deck. It's 1,000 square footer. I tore out all the framing and had to replace it. So I ate about 25 grand of loss on that job. But I have found some really good subs that I still use today. And you just have to weed your way through a number of them to find it's a numbers game.
Yeah. And do you find that do you like look for ones that are just really solid, have all the best experience, or do you like to find people that you can train or might be more open-minded to the way you do
Yeah,
things?
I kind of like what I've found is I like the new startup companies because there's always dudes starting new deck companies every year. And so I do the home and garden show in Salt Lake City every March, and that's the biggest one in Utah. And this year alone there was 12 new startup deck companies. And so I just kind of cruised around and went and talked to a bunch of them and I check out their work and ask them why they got started or how they started their company and seeing if they're solid or not. And then I try them out on some smaller cookie cutter decks that it's like making mashed potatoes that are hard to fuck up. So,
Yeah.
and then I see how they are and how they treat the client and how they take care of the job site and then go from there.
Yeah. 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 You say, would you think it's like is it pretty rare to find someone that's really good? I mean, have you ever thought
No,
about
I
having,
feel like
no.
everyone pretty much does a good job there's more than one way to skin a cat. So it's just everyone has a certain building style. So I just work with them and tell them when you got to lay out your expectations up front. Tell them this is how the legendary deck looks like. Do these certain things. This is how I do it, so that my client can't tell any difference of who built their deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you have the crews that are, help building everything. Are you doing building it all anymore? Or are you out of that?
I'm slowly phasing out of that. So it's so hard for me to let go. I'm such a freaking perfectionist and super OCD. And so in the beginning, like I was like, I had to oversee every screw, every cut, everything. But then as gone by, I realized that's the wrong way of doing things. If you want to scale your business and you want to make max profit, you got to be doing more than one job at a time. And so I've kind of felt myself letting go a little bit, and at the end of the day, it's like you still want a quality product, but it's a deck. It's not a baby grand piano, you know. So it's like you can trust these guys and give them a little bit more responsibility, and a lot of times they'll run with it and do a damn good job.
Yeah. 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 But no like salespeople. Are you doing all the sales still?
No, I still do all the sales. So
Okay.
I do all the bids and all the sales, and then I'll do like material drop offs and set up my subs. And then if it's a bigger job, I'll help them with the tear outs and marking out footings and putting those in and sort of things. And then I kind of gauge it by case basis, like how the client is. If it's a super needy client or they're like kind of kind of a little bit weird client, then I'll take care of that job. And if it's a super custom job, I still like to build those too. So if it's
Yeah.
really complex, I'll freaking bang those suckers out.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you submit anything like for Nadra awards? Are you part of Nadra at all?
No, I don't know what the hell that is.
Oh, it's like the decking association. It's like the biggest deck association, like just a whole the giant group of deck builders basically. But they do
Oh, cool.
awards where you can basically join, and then they got all kinds of different things going on. But one of them, the big thing is like the Nadra Awards, where you literally they got like a million different categories for like best deck and all these other things. There's just best deck
Hmm.
under 25 grand, 25 to 50. There's like $1 million category, I think, this year.
Holy
Stuff like
smokes, I've
that.
never done a job that big.
Yeah. I think that was a big commercial one. Though. But anyways, so you were saying before we spoke, because I was kind of get some ideas of what to talk about specifically, like you were saying visualizing and creating the design, like kind of made it sound like you can really get a clear picture when you go into the backyard of what would look good. Can you kind of talk about that? Like maybe your process of how you do it and maybe how you pass it on to the client, get them excited or, whatever your process is for that.
Yeah, so what I've really found that works is like I guess in the beginning I would go to a bid and I'd say, so what are you guys after? What are you wanting? What is your project looking like? Do you guys know what colors you want? And I get this answer all the time of you're the professional, you tell me. And I'm like, oh, gosh, dude. Like, well, so so now I kind of go in there with a different approach where I kind of put feelers out of if they're in the planning stage or the budgeting stage and what their budget is, and then try to get them the best bang for their buck with what will fit it within their parameters. And what I found too is don't talk to the husband. Just have him be your buddy, but focus on the wife. It's because happy wife, happy life, man. If and don't talk anything about price, just go on colors. Like she's gonna fall in love with an island mist board versus the foggy wharf,
Yeah.
and you're gonna make more money.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that one. It's definitely true though. And I mean, if it's anything like me and my wife, like my wife is much more likely to just say yes to whatever. And like, I'm more like, no, we gotta like pay attention to the
I
budget.
know
I feel like that's
for
probably
sure.
the more of the norm.
But we need this, babe.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. And it's actually funny. It's weird timing, I guess, but right now a local contractor in Maryland, he was he wanted to basically trade services. So I'm in the process of, I have a pretty large deck in my house, like about 1,000 square feet. So we're kind of like talking about the colors and this and that. And I kind of had all this idea. I brought it in, and then I'm like, oh, I really like this gray. And then quickly was like, my wife was like, no, like I like this darker one or whatever. And I'm like, I feel like this is a little bit unfair. Like I brought all this to
No,
the
it's
table,
like,
and like I'm not even going to be picking the color for it.
you know, and then
But
they gaslight you and make you think that it's your idea.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, gosh
Oh yeah,
damn it, you women.
those are really smart ones.
Yep.
um, so okay, yeah, but anyways, okay, so you're kind of going through that, the colors. Do you show like actual boards? Do you have like a presentation binder or like
Yeah, so
how does that work?
I'm kind of partial to a few boards of like each company that I like to sell and I like to work with and use. So I've got a little sales kit of those certain lines of decking, like the Enhanced Naturals, Transcend, and then with TimberTech, um, I use like the Vintage and those boards as well. So I'll put all those compilation together, and then they're all pretty much the same price point with company to company, and then I'll just kind of let the client decide of what they like. And what I found too, if the client has an idea that is just straight dumb, you just gotta you let them talk it out, and you just are silent. You don't say anything back, and you just let them think about it. And you can see their wheels turning. Like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea, is it? You're like, no.
So you kind of give them hints to like make them figure it out on their own, basically.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. That's good. Nobody likes the person that just shuts down everything, I guess,
you
or
know,
the contractor that's like condescending or whatever. I've definitely had plenty of
yeah.
those come to my house. Um, okay, so you basically pick out the boards, and then are you ever like you look at the backyard and you kind of, I mean, the truth of it is, I mean, obviously it depends on budget, but if somebody has more flexibility in there, I've heard, some people say that they'll like kind of show more elaborate designs or ideas. Um, maybe they'll show what the kind of like within the parameters of what the client said or the homeowner said, but then they might show something even more elaborate. Do you ever do anything like that? Like kind of, whenever they're like, we're a little bit flexible or want some ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of gauge off how the client's reactions are, and what's really surprising is sometimes like the people you think there's no way in hell they're gonna afford this, they end up picking all the upgraded options, and they're like, yeah, let's start yesterday, and I'm like,
Yeah.
holy smokes! So
I, I,
you
I,
just never know.
yeah, that was the biggest thing I've ever learned is you literally cannot try to predict that stuff because you're almost like always wrong, it seems like. And the people you think are like, oh yeah, they're gonna move forward, and then they don't. And then the ones that you were like, this isn't gonna
Yeah,
work out. I'm just gonna move on. And they're like, okay, let's go. I don't know what that is, but it can be bad to try to predict it, it seems like.
yeah, for sure.
Um okay, so you're doing decks, are you doing like porches, pergolas, gazebos, anything like that?
Just pergolas and awnings.
Awnings. Okay. Is that pretty big out in Utah?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Because in the summertime it gets so freaking hot out here, and it barely rains, and it can get up to like 95 to 100 plus in July and August, and the the decking just gets so freaking damn hot that everyone's like, well, I want it covered, so we do a lot of awnings.
Gotcha. Never like solid roof structures like porch roofs or anything like that.
You know,
Okay.
no, I don't do
Um,
that.
gotcha. Are you doing
When
louver
someone's
pergolas?
no, we've never done those. There's
Okay.
a pretty big company out here that does that, like I think Utah Awnings. So some things I just don't care about doing. I guess I could add more to to my portfolio, but I know what I'm good at. I know what's going to make the most money for quick turnover rate in my guys. So like if they say something, then I'll just refer another contractor that does.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Are you looking to expand services at all in the future, or pretty happy with what you guys are doing?
I'm pretty happy with what I've got. Um, I feel like maybe becoming a one-stop shop, like everything landscaping, but I would probably just do more general contracting and then get a list of subs put together that could do that. Because I have a great electrician I use for my awnings. I have an awesome concrete guy because everybody wants a pad under their deck if it's a tall deck so that they can use it as a hangout space
Yeah.
and things like that. So I already have
Gotcha.
a few guys, but I mean I guess you never know.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So, is there anything you could attribute? So, from 2019 till now, you have three crews. Things are going well. You're, um, Platinum Pro, Trex Pro, all this stuff. So, anything that you could say really helped get you to that point? Is there anything? Was it marketing related? Was it just referrals? Community
I feel
stuff,
like
anything like that?
I feel like it was definitely putting in the work in 2020, 21, 22, and just working my ass off and building a name for myself. To now, it's like I just get random phone calls all the time of, "Hey, you built so and so's deck," or "Hey, you were over here a while ago or a few years ago." So my referral base is insane, and my word of mouth, I probably do 75% of jobs off of word of mouth
Wow, good for you. Nice. What
because I don't really do marketing at all. I'm so old school. I still do bids on pen and paper, man. I don't even on here. I was like click clack clack. So it's like
All
I
good.
barely do any marketing.
Gotcha. And so you have three crews. What did you end up hitting revenue wise for 2025?
25, I did 1.3.
Nice. Okay. And
So that's usually where I stay is like one. My best year was 22. I did 1.4. So I kind of stay right around that 1 million to 1.4 area.
it's been staying like that even with getting further and further away from COVID.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
for
good.
sure. It's
That's really
so
good.
weird. It's like COVID was just like everybody wanted a freaking deck
Yeah.
and everyone wanted to go hang outside, but it was like people were refinancing their homes and pulling the equity out to build the projects. So I'd say like my average ticket was like probably 15 to 20 grand. But now it's like I've built such a good name for myself that I'm getting super high end referrals. It's like we're doing a job right now that's 270,000. So it's
Nice.
like I've got really, and that's kind of what I wanted to get to because in the years prior, I would take every job possible
Hmm.
that I could get, and then now I've learned like no, like chill out, get the jobs that are worth it, that the clients are gonna pay for what you do and appreciate your quality and make more money on.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lesson there too, because like for one, we hear all the time, we talk to deck builders all the time of saying, COVID years are gone. And the fact that you've been able to stay consistent all these years later, I mean, we're really far from the COVID years now. So that kind of, you know, what it says to me is there's something related to the work that you're doing that's bringing it back versus a lot of people kind of just slowly go downhill or get less leads or whatever. But if you're not doing, maybe they're not doing as good of work and that's not leading to the referrals. I don't know, but there's got to be something to that. Okay. So basically just word of mouth, nothing else. That's how you're getting everything in
Yeah,
referrals. Okay.
so I have an ad in the home magazine which that does get me a lot of higher end work because it goes to a lot of like older retired couples that just are ready to spend money and live out their life. I tell those guys instead of a 25-year warranty, this is a lifetime warranty because you guys are so close to the end. But um, the older people, they like to spend money and they're the ones that like to upgrade the decking, upgrade the railing, just go all out.
And
And
have the money.
and they're the nice clients to work for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Is there anything right now in the business like? is kind of the next step or something you're trying to figure out? Like, anything that's top of mind of what you want to improve or get to, anything like that?
I would feel like maybe hiring a project manager that can, because I'm kind of doing both the bids and project managing, where I'm running materials and setting up the subs and doing those things. So I'd like to find a replacement, so to speak, so that they can go out and do that side of things so I can focus more on bids and sales.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you eventually looking at someone to help with sales? Like, are you trying to find, keep hiring people to help with your,
No,
get
I,
some of your
I
time
feel
back
like
or?
I don't know because I've heard a lot of guys say, and a few of my mentors that are in the decking world say this too, that whenever they hired sales guys, their business went down because I just feel like they don't have the same drive and passion that you do about your own company and your own belief in your company and to make the jobs happen and you they might bid a job wrong or just rub a client the wrong way. So I feel like I'm always going to stay in the sales position.
Yeah, I think that's inevitable. It's never gonna be as good as you're doing it, I guess. But at least what I've heard is, yeah, that's been the case. The contractors
It's
we
like you
work
have to
with,
hire
and
three to replace the amount of work that you bring in. And
I
then
hope
man,
they're
you
not
got to
that
do
bad.
yeah,
Yeah, I
but
hope it's
then you
not
got to
three.
do so much volume to pay their salaries plus yours and all those things. So I feel like I'm on that cusp of a big company but still a small company. So it's like I don't want to get too big for how small I am, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How many hours do you work a week?
Oh, right now, maybe like 30 to 40. So
Oh, nice.
it's definitely better than I told my wife, I'm like, I got so much time on my hands, but I'm working like a normal work week that some random guy does.
Yeah.
So, but it's a lot better now than it was a couple of years ago when I was doing 100 hours plus a week, just working sun up to sundown on the jobs. And then Saturday, Sunday were my bid days where I'd do all of my estimates.
Yeah. So basically you're just kind of supervising the jobs. You're not, have the
Yeah, I'm
belts
just
on or
supervising.
anything like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that sales process, I'd like to unpack that because you were talking in the beginning or before we start recording about kind of the sales. You basically learned a lot because you're doing door-to-door sales. I think you said like satellite TVs, right? Back in the
Yeah,
day.
so I sold Dish and Direct TV for a year, and then I did 4 years of security alarms for Vivint. So,
Gotcha. That's a lot of reps then. How many doors you knock on in a day?
oh my gosh, you'd depending on the day, you'd knock anywhere from like 20 to 50 doors,
Jeez.
and just
What
and
was
I loved getting dropped off in the hood, man. I connected with those people so much and learned so much and about just how to talk to people and how to be with people and interact, and
yeah.
it taught me a lot. I really liked
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
So I sold in Dallas, Texas, sold in New Orleans, Louisiana, sold in Montana for a summer, and then I sold in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and St. Louis, Missouri. So I was just kind of all over the place.
Oh, so you mentioned summer sales. So that's like a program where you travel. They'll send you
Yeah.
different states.
So they send you to the location in April, like the end of April, and then you spend May, June, July, and August out there, and then you come home at the end of August.
Man, that has got to be the best way you could spend
Yeah.
the summer to like prep you for the real
Yeah. My
world.
favorite summer was Nashville, Tennessee, and I think I spent more time in the honky tonks than on the doors.
Yeah. As I say, you kind of look like you'd be from Texas or Tennessee.
Yeah, yeah. I know people always ask me that, and I'm like, nope, I'm a Utah lifer, born and raised in the same small town.
That's cool. That's cool. So what age are you when you do that?
So I did that from 19 to 24.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. And yeah, gosh, I wish I did something like that. When I started my business, I've always been like an operations focused person and I getting into sales like was just so new. I like just had to do it.
Yeah.
You can't have a business without selling. But yeah, there's no better teacher than just kind of getting thrown in there and
Yeah, for sure.
just talking to people.
Thrown
So
into the fire.
yeah, basically. And you were really thrown into there if you're going door to door. It's a little bit easier or a little
Yeah.
bit harder than what I was doing. Um, okay, so I mean, is there anything? Well, I guess because you're been staying steady, even though we're far away from COVID, like, is there anything that you find you do when you're building maybe that is maybe special or, really gets the attention of homeowners that makes them want to refer you or maybe your process overall? Like, is there anything that you've had people kind of pick out?
I feel like communication is the biggest thing. And so like I don't just take the client's deposit and see you later and then text you 5, 6 weeks later, say, hey, we're here. Like
Yeah.
I go through the clients that we're working on and the clients that are the projects are soon to start. And I'll send them a text like 7 or 8 o'clock every morning, just giving them updates. And then while we're working on their project, I don't do that every morning, but at least once a week just to let them know. But the clients that were working on their project, I talk to them every day. And at the beginning of the day, I tell them what our goals are for that day and what the plan is on their project. And then at the end of the
Nice.
day, I give them another update. And then also, what I've found too that helps is asking them how they're liking it so far and if they have any changes that they're wanting or they're thinking about. Because I've done that so many times where we get to the finish line and we're putting in the final railing or the final fascia boards, and the client comes out and they're like, why'd you put the stairs there? They should go over there. Or
Oh,
can
God.
you put some railing over here? And you're like, oh my gosh, dude, now I got to figure out a whole nother day in here and throw my schedule off. And we could
Yeah.
have done this sooner if you would have brought it up. So I feel like talking it out and with your clients and bringing them out every day and showing them what's going on and
Yeah.
getting hands on the project that saves you a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And then I
And
feel like they feel like they're a part of the process and they're like, because all my reviews are like, oh, Calvin's great. He does so much communication. His guys are so awesome. So it's just all about communicating with your client
yeah, do you do it via text or are you actually out there like talking
out there.
face to face?
Yeah,
Okay.
do things in
Gotcha.
person. I send them the text in the mornings to say, hey, we're on our way. We're picking up some materials, or hey, we're focusing on the stairs today, or whatever. But then while we're out there, or at the end of the day, I'll go out and check on the client and have them come out and go over the project with us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my favorite thing about decks, I mean, they're cool. It's like something people want. It's not like you're installing
Yeah,
a roof and like, um, yeah, I mean, just watching you guys build that and, kind of bring it to life would be fascinating. So that makes sense to kind of give those updates and let them know what's going on. Does it ever lead to like upsells or, changes where they're like, hey, I want to do whatever. I
yeah,
don't know,
it has for
something.
sure. Like it's definitely been beneficial of adding things in, and you can tell them too. Like we're already here, so I'm not going to charge you a crazy amount of labor. You just got to pay X amount for materials, and then you can just kind of a little bit of upsells here and there and
Yeah.
make a little bit more profit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. So yeah, I would imagine, yeah, adding pergolas or something like that. Once you kind of
Yeah,
point out that it's going to be too sunny or, whatever the case, or definitely an awning too. Um,
yeah,
okay. Um, okay. So when you do the sale, you're basically just kind of, you're showing them what you discussed, but then you're also like, do you ever throw on pergolas or, the awnings and kind of be like, hey, just as an idea, this is something you might be interested in. This is
yeah,
kind of what it would look like.
yeah. I feel like the pergolas and the decks go hand in hand, and so a lot of the times, on my shirt, on my logo, it says decks and pergolas and awnings, and they'll call me thinking legendary decks, and then I show up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you do pergolas and awnings too? We've been wanting one of those." And I'm like, "Yeah." So that helps out a lot. I'd say maybe 25% of our clients add on a structure like that, like a pergola or an awning.
Nice.
So we definitely focus on the decks, but we do sell quite a bit of those.
Yeah. And do you you said you were kind of old school with technology. Like, are you showing them pictures like of projects you've done, like when you
Yeah,
do the
and I got to
sale?
organize my camera roll.
Nice. So you're
And my
just using your
kids will
phone?
steal my phone, and yeah, my kids will steal my phone and go take pictures of random stuff. And so I gotta go weed through everything and be like, oh yeah, we did this one.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the worst is when you get clients that just hover over your shoulder and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh God, I hope I
yeah.
deleted that one I sent to my wife.
Yeah, Jesus. Oh my gosh. Yep, just ignore that one. Oh my God, that'd be really funny. Okay, so I'm guessing you send it to them, or they're like, I like that one. You like text it to them so they can look at it, or bring it inside or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, all right. So getting kind of the end here, like, is there anything that you've learned? You've been successful with your company and kind of grew it from ground up. Anything that you would say to somebody that, I don't know the exact situation everyone that listens to this podcast are in, but it's definitely more people that are, I would say probably just getting out, the younger people that are into podcasts and things like that. So anything you would say to maybe somebody that's like maybe sub 500,000 or you're trying to get to that million mark, anything that really helped you get there sticks out, be solid advice for them.
Yeah, I would say to definitely when you're first starting out, like humble yourself. And even I even did that when I first started out, trying to find clients, but also going to established companies and saying, hey, do you have any overflow work? I'd love to be your sub, and building your name up with that. And then also just don't ever freaking give up. Like there's always ways. Like obviously you start your company because you have skill and you know how to build stuff. So there's always going to be somebody that you can work with and just make it happen.
Yeah.
That's just my mentality I had the whole time was never quit, never give up.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I mean, if you're just basically using somebody that a much bigger I mean, it sounds like that's what you did. You said your mentors that are bigger than you are. So you're taking, is that what you kind of did? You worked for them and like did some of their jobs and then
Yeah.
you were kind of building yours next to, side by side.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like you can always learn something. I learn something every day and take advice from people that are better than you. Like
Yeah.
don't be prideful.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of speak like what helped with me and my business was if you're not learning from somebody that knows more than you, or and make sure you're learning from the right person, not somebody that, is not
Yeah.
doing a good job or doesn't have
Yeah.
what you want. Like, don't take their
That's got
advice.
prison tats all over him.
Yeah. 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 Um, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, that's an interesting one with the decks because it's like you're getting that advice, but you're also getting paid for it. I mean, that's always the best way to do it is to get paid for learning, I guess. But um, with my business, if I didn't learn from all the mentors I had, I don't even know where I would be. Like it would have taken
Yeah.
forever to get to where I've gotten now. If I didn't have somebody to be like, hey, what would you do in this situation? Or somebody that like was verified as a good person. So this is crucial for anybody. I mean, really anybody, even if you're humongous, like the biggest deck builders I know, and I know tons of them, they're all talking to other deck builders, even if they're smaller than them, if they're, everybody's doing something unique more than likely. So I say this constantly. Anybody, whether it's a contractor or somebody in marketing, really doesn't matter. Like that would be the first advice I would give is like you got to get part of something. You got to have people around you that are doing it because not only you learn stuff, but like it's going to help you when you are just overwhelmed, like if you have somebody you can talk to that's just like going through the same
Yeah,
stuff.
somebody to lean on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You're not
because
all by
there's
yourself.
yeah, exactly. And there's no
Everybody's
way.
been through the situation you're going through right now.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like you can always figure something out and talk and work things through.
yeah, yeah. And I think like maybe you have friends or whatever, from high school or college, whatever the case may be. Like you might have those
Yeah.
friends, but like there's no way they're going to understand what it's like to start a business and all the stresses really that you're going through. So,
No one, they just see the success. They just go, "Oh my
yeah,
God, you're
yeah,
so blessed. You're so lucky." And
yeah. So
they don't see
lucky.
you crying in the closet
Yeah,
at freaking midnight
yeah,
saying your client says they hate your project and they're
yeah,
not going to pay you.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That
yeah.
those emails would cripple me like and they still do honestly because I hate hearing it but when you get a just an email of luckily I have great account managers that kind of deal with those bad messages more now but um
No,
it still
I
just
had,
hurts it's your baby
I
so
know.
um but anyways I think that about does it there, Calvin. I appreciate you coming on here and sharing everything that you've done with your business and all the success that you had. Um, and going forward with the podcast, staying pretty consistent these days. So I'm going to keep cranking out some new episodes. And as of right now, we're in the time of recording. We got a pretty big queue, so I'm not sure exactly when this will be posted, but recording was June 25th. And we're kind of think right around mid of the year. I think we're almost halfway through the year now. So if anything is not going the way you wanted with your business, or things are slower, or you're not going to hit your goals, or you're just trying to prep for next year, definitely reach out to us. Just go to our website, deckfencemarketers.com. We can do an audit of your business, all of that, and create a plan custom to you. But other than that, Calvin, excuse me, that's about it. Calvin, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and being so open with your information. Feel free to anybody that's listening, if you got a value from it, just share it. That'd be great. But that's it. Thanks, man. Maybe we'll plan a hunt together or something, and
Yeah, I'd love
yeah,
that.
something, man. But yeah, appreciate you coming on here, and yeah, we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.